Welcome to your step-by-step wholesale guide for succeeding on Amazon in 2025. In this series, I'm going to explain why you should pursue the wholesale business model on Amazon, and more specifically, why you should partner with brands directly to sell products on Amazon. I'm also going to be covering how to find brands that are willing to partner with you, how to contact those brands and win the accounts, and how to sustainably scale and grow your business for many years to come. So let's begin with step one.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Dan, aka 1000 ASINs on Instagram. I'm excited to make this mini course for you guys to get you started off right with the wholesale business model. So step one, after you've created your business entity and set up your account, is finding suppliers to buy from. This is obviously going to be the key to sourcing profitable products, having the right suppliers, having the ability to create supplier leads. And that's what this course is all about. I'm going to be teaching you 3 different methods that I use in my business every day, that all 3 have been tried and true and successful. And they're methods that I know other large Amazon sellers are using with their, supplier outreach as well. And just a brief overview of the wholesale business model is basically purchasing from 2 types of suppliers. One type is the brand directly, so just contacting a brand and forming a relationship with them, purchasing products that they manufacture directly. The second type of supplier is a distributor. So a lot of manufacturers and brands will work with distributors to distribute out their products to brick and mortar retailers, or even export them or to online retailers as well. They can be regional distributors, they can be national or international distributors of products. So both types of suppliers work, both have some pros and cons, but there's no right answer as to whether you should source from distributors or brands or both. They all work. Before I begin, the next videos and dive into the 3 different methods of sourcing, I just wanted to give you a brief background on myself. So I've been selling on Amazon for 6 years now. I started in 2018. Before that, I was a real estate agent. I was doing apartment rentals and sales in New York City, and was doing moderately well with that, but got kind of burnt out from it and was looking for something a little bit more scalable. So I've been doing basically 100% wholesale on Amazon for about 4 years now. And of those 4 years, my sales have pretty much doubled every year. So year 1, I was at around 3 or 4 million. And then I went to 6 million. And then I went to 12 million. And now here I am, probably going to finish the year above 20 million. So that should, be a testament to the power of wholesale and how quickly you can scale. So this year to date, as of November 12th, I've sold 651,000 units of product, generating $15 million of sales. And I should finish the year out on this account at around 18 million, I would estimate, because there's going to be a Q4 boost, as there always is. I also have a second account that's under a brand's name that's doing about 3 million a month, 3 million a year. And then we also sell on eBay and Walmart and Shopify, and each of those is starting to approach 7 figures of sales. So should be closing the year significantly above 20 million. And for 2025, I have, more grand plans. We're going to try and go for $30 million plus of sales. So the model's been really good to me, and I want to show others this business model because it's honestly been life-changing the past 5 years. So that's me in a nutshell. The 3 primary methods for finding brands and distributors that I use is going to be, number 1, using a software called Smart Scout. Smart Scout will allow you to filter down brands that meet the exact criteria that you're looking for in a brand. And I'm going to go into some of that criteria more specifically in the video. Number 2 is going to be sourcing distributors and methods on how to find distributors based on, Google searches, trade shows, et cetera. And then number 3, finding suppliers via reverse sourcing other competitors. So what I mean by that is going on Amazon listings, finding storefronts that are selling wholesale products, and then compiling a list of their brands and then contacting those brands. So I'll show you how to find the suppliers, organize the suppliers, and keep track of what you've done with all these suppliers as well. And this should put you on the path to being one step closer to being successful with wholesale. So looking forward to showing you these 3 methods a little bit more in depth, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, so we're going to go into the first method of finding suppliers. And this method involves using a software called Smart Scout. If you don't have Smart Scout, I'd highly recommend it. As a wholesale seller, it has a lot of interesting features that will really help you in wholesale. And I'm going to leave a link to our special sign up, which gives you 25% off the software for the first 3 months, which should give you ample time to see if it's right for you. But I find Smart Scout to be invaluable. It does a lot more than just what I'm going to show you, but I'm going to just show you this one section of the software to help you find brands and analyze brands on Amazon. So to find brands to contact, you basically want to filter them down into certain criteria. So if you click on brands here and then click filters, this is going to give you a lot of options to filter the right types of brands that we want. So I'll touch on the right type of brand briefly to target for Amazon. So if you're watching this, you're probably a small seller or looking to get started. You may have, somewhat limited capital, like a couple $1,000 up to maybe 100K or 500K if you're lucky. So depending on your capital level, you kind of have to target brands that are of a similar size to you, if that makes sense. So if you have, let's say $10,000 to your name, you're not going to be able to contact Apple for a wholesale account to purchase iPhones wholesale or LG to order TVs wholesale. That just doesn't make sense. And I think everyone can see why with that extreme example. So for brands to want to work with you and open an account with you, you need to make an impact to the brand, which means that you need to be a significant purchaser of their products. So any mega brand is just going to be basically off the table to anyone but the very, very top Amazon sellers, which are basically 1,000-person companies. Large brands typically will also say no to a direct relationship and will typically point you towards purchasing from a regional distributor. And then medium brands, those are the type of brands I'm kind of targeting and working with. Not household names, but definitely have like a niche following, so those types of brands, they're willing to work with a medium to large Amazon seller that can do significant purchase volume of a few $1,000,000 a year of orders. That would make a difference to them. And then you have your small brands, which they're just getting started, or they're just like a mom and pop operation and have very limited revenue on Amazon, very little presence on Amazon. Those are the type of brands you kind of want to work with if you have limited capital, like in the 5 to 10K range, because they'd still be happy to receive a purchase order for $1,000 or $2,000 of product and be happy with that. And maybe they just have absolutely no clue what to do on Amazon, and you can come in and help create listings for them and help them with their brand presence on Amazon and form a close relationship where someday that might lead to even an exclusive agreement where you're the only storefront who can sell on Amazon. So in order to figure out, what is a large versus medium versus small brand on Amazon, the monthly revenue filter is really useful for that. So what I like to do is do a minimum of $10,000 revenue, which means, across the all their products, there's probably 2 to 3K of profit to be generated. And then on the top end, you can cap this at like 50,000 or 100,000. If you want to just focus on small brands, you can increase this to 500,000 or million or 2 million if you want to focus on like the medium or larger brands. There's really no right answer here. So I would start, with 100,000 just to target these small brands. And if you run into not too many results, you can always make all of these filters looser. So you can do lower monthly revenue minimum and a higher maximum. You get the idea. And then next thing I'm going to talk about is category. So there are two schools of thought here. One school of thought is that you should
focus on one niche in one category specifically. And the benefit of that is more brands are going to want to work with you because you are focused in their exact category. So, for instance, like in arts, crafts, and sewing brand, if you approach this brand and say, we are an arts, crafts, and sewing focused retailer, they may open the account for you versus if you inquire and say, we're an online retailer, variety store, we sell in every category all over the place, they might say, we're not really looking for partnerships with like generalist type of retailers. So the other thing is you can understand who the brands are, who the players are, speak with more confidence as to the types of products that they're selling, and you may possibly know competitors of theirs and talk to competitors of theirs. So like the more industry specific, category specific knowledge you have, typically you're going to have a better time closing an account with one of these brands. However, on the flip side, it does limit you to less brands and less opportunities within a category. So if you are like me and are just kind of like a generalist that will sell in any category, you'll have an easier time blasting out a bunch of inquiries to a lot of different suppliers, probably opening up a higher volume of accounts, and just be kind of agnostic as to what you sell and just be able to pick and choose like the highest margin, highest ROI products at any price point, any category. So it gives you more flexibility there. So like I said, no right answer. What I will say is each category is so big, you're not going to hit a limit in terms of like the opportunity. Every category is massive. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about however you choose that, but let's just pick a category just for the purpose of the course here. We'll just choose industrial and scientific. Don't know why I chose that, but let's go with it. And then let's talk about a couple other of these filters before we conduct our search here. So typically we want to sell brands where Amazon is not retailing the product. So about 40% of the product that is sold on Amazon is sold by Amazon retail themselves. So they're the retailer of the product. The other 60% is by third-party sellers or brands selling directly on Amazon. When you compete with Amazon, they typically will take most of the buy box and most of the sales. So you will have a hard time generating sales against Amazon. And also they can be pretty ruthless in terms of price competition. So some listings, they just do not like to be undercut, and they will go as low as needed to continue to get all of the sales. And they have no problem taking a quite substantial loss on the product just to be competitive. So generally it's ill-advised to compete against Amazon. It's not impossible, and there are plenty of people who do, but I prefer to not compete against Amazon and just keep it simple, compete only against other third-party sellers. So you can filter the Amazon stock rate, minimum, maximum. I'm just going to say not 210, 20%, meaning Amazon is in stock on average 20% of the time throughout the year, which means that they're stocking out most of the time, and there's plenty of opportunity for third-party sellers. Average number of FBA sellers. So I'm going to put a minimum of 5 here. And the reason I put a minimum of 5 sellers is because we want to target brands that are already working with multiple Amazon sellers. So if the number of FBA sellers on a listing is 1, that typically means that the brand is selling the product themselves on Amazon and does not want any more sellers on the listing, or it means that they have an exclusive relationship with a third-party seller and again are not looking for more resellers. So we put that minimum of 5 kind of ensures that they're already selling to multiple sellers, or the product can be purchased through distribution fairly easily, and for whatever reason sellers are gaining access to the product. And those are the main filters I have. As you can see, there are more, but we'll just keep it to these filters. And then we're basically searching the category and searching all the brands that meet this criteria. And as you can see, it has put out a list of brands that we can
I'll contact. But before we go ahead and contact, we want to do a brief analysis of a few factors and to make sure that this brand is indeed worthwhile. So you can click on this magnifying glass. You can see all the products that are listed under that brand name on Amazon. You can see all the sellers and their market share of the brand, among many other things. So let's go to the products first. And I like to just get a general feel of what's going on. So I see there's only 2 products under this brand name. So let's take a look. And there's all sorts of interesting data. I see there's 41 sellers on this listing, 31 on the other. Pretty interesting. So if click here on the ASIN, it'll lead you to the Amazon listing. You can see it's selling 2,000 to 3,000 units a month, plenty of FBA offers. My profit calculator shows break evens at $8.63. Let's say hypothetically we can get this for $6 a unit. We'd make like $2.63, 44% ROI, 18% margin. And I like to check the Keepa chart, which is another Chrome extension, to see kind of the price history. It looks like over time, a lot of sellers have entered onto this listing over the past 6 months or so. Price history is fairly stable, which I like to see. And then I will click into who the sellers are. Whether I see this brand name selling on the listing or how big the sellers are. So I'm looking on the sidebar. I'm seeing a good amount of small and medium sellers. This Amazon.com is pretty much a fluke. It looks like, so this orange section is when Amazon's on the listing. They just pop on and off very quickly. Sometimes they'll like find lost stock from sellers in the warehouse and list it and be on and off. So that's not really a concern here. I'm seeing some medium to large sellers here. But yeah, this is kind of exactly what I'm looking for, like a mix of a good amount of sellers able to access the product. So at this point, I would note down the brand name. So I would type in this brand name, and then I would go on their website and try to see if I can find a website and a contact form. So I'm going to do that. Just copy pasting this name. And it's actually listed under a different brand name. That's interesting, but this looks like it's it. So there's the United States website, and you can get a further feel for their products. And then let's see, typically on these websites, there will be some sort of wholesale link or B2B link. So I'm just looking for that. I'm not seeing too much. So what you could do is just, here we go, speak with a sales representative. So this is where you would fill out the form. If there's a phone number, you can put these numbers down in a spreadsheet. If there's any sort of sales email address, then you can go ahead and contact them. And yeah, but that's kind of step 2. So I'm getting ahead of myself. But basically confirming that there are multiple sellers on the listing. There's no red flags on the listings and whatnot. I would go through each one of these brands and add it to a list, and then subsequently contact these brands for wholesale accounts. So you can imagine just how many brands you can find right off the bat based on searching every category. There's many categories. You could loosen up these filters. You can play around with all sorts of stuff, and I have no doubt that you can generate a list of 1,000 plus brands that are quality brands to contact that you have a real chance of picking up an account with. So that's basically the Smart Scout method in a nutshell. So this should definitely help you big time. And in the next video, we're going to go over finding distributors through two methods to find distributors. And that's going to be a whole other large opportunity to be able to purchase many products from many brands through distribution.
So after watching this video, if you're convinced that this is the business model that you want to pursue when it comes to selling on Amazon, then click the link below to learn from me directly, and you can prevent a lot of the mistakes that I've learned over the past 6 years and took hundreds, if not thousands of hours for me to correct. So I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk soon.